Gillen, I'm the youth manager for Paisley YMCA. We are a digital youth work organisation. We do not do any kind of traditional youth inputs anymore. Paisley YMCA is 185 years old. We predate the YMCA movement, and we are going to be celebrating 175 years officially of the YMCA movement in August down in London, where we're taking all this digital kit with us. What we do at our organisation is employability through digital skills, and in terms of community development, we use the kind of approaches of Alinsky and popular education and Frere and all that kind of thing to help and support, get young people to be aware of hegemonic control and within a digital world that's happening to them, so that they can then be aware of that and then start using digital in a transformative, disruptive way that counterbalances the imbalance of young people being digital consumers of content as opposed to being creators and contributors to digital content. So we have a place that's called Makerspace Paisley, which you're all more than welcome to come and visit at some point, in the west end of Paisley, and that is basically a bit shaped like this room, but three or four times bigger than this, and it's got laser cutters and printers and laptops and iPads, and we do lots of what's called digital culture, creative film and music making, as well as lots of manufacturing, anything from inception in your mind to implementation. That can be a community service or a product, and we develop things through entrepreneur business development in young people, and that's for ages 8 all the way up to 24, but mainly we concentrate on ages 11 to 15, 16, predominantly because young people who are 15 will then want to leave and go straight into the world of work, which is the other part of what our program is about, is that transition for that young person from the world of education into the world of work, and how a lot of them are not prepared for that change in environment. And it's through doing our work that they get a little bit better prepared for that, because they no longer do tablet and macaroon and bacon rounds and milk rounds and things like that anymore, like I used to do. So what we're going to do is you are all going to get a hands-on tryout of all the kit that we have. You're going to learn about mathematics through robotics. You're going to learn about conceptual thinking and about problem solving, but in a way of using robots in order to do that. You're going to learn to create fantastic instant gratification. You'll all become DJs through music app making. And we'll try and get through as quickly as many as you possibly can the VR, because everybody always likes to try out the VR. Now, what we use for the VR stuff in terms of, so we go through all the CLD competencies in terms of getting to know a community, addressing and empowering, what you're going to use in terms of your resources and the context of what you're going to do to support that group. The groups that we work with are screenagers. Okay, that's the market, if you will, of the young people that we work with are screenagers, young people who are not into your youth clubs and your traditional inputs within a Friday night youth club and the pool and the snooker. They don't do the detached stuff either in the street, out in the street where you come and meet them, because they're not there either. They are banged 24/7 in front of a screen, either trying to hack NASA or the government, take down their school websites for jollies, torrenting all the copyrighted music material that they possibly can. What else are they doing? Creating their own ideas, but using technology as the hammer and nail to do it with. What we do as part of that is we look at the different groups of young people that we work with. One of the groups of young people, and again, another term that you'll start to hear more about when we go around all of this, is called STEMinism. Because everything that we cover is within the STEM, science, technology, engineering and maths, but clearly as part of that we also do a lot of art community development. So as part of all the art community development that some of you already probably did, and you might have did with Impact Arts, we do that but in a digital sphere. So as part of that, again, we've got lots of young girls that we support to become more involved with all the kind of digital development within our programs, and get them to question as to why they're not being encouraged in the first place and why they end up going down a more traditional perceived female route in colleges and universities. So it'll be a bit tricky to see how we do this because we're meant to only have 12 and we had 12 and we've set up all the things for 12, but I know that we've got a couple more extra. So what we're going to do is this young guy behind you is called Shane. He is going to show that table up there, a bit of maths using a sphero robotic ball, and he's also going to get the rest of you to do some kind of art input in terms of what's called a makey, which is basically some of you are going to learn to code and run it through what's called a microcontroller. These four over here, you're going to become DJs for the afternoon. You're going to do some hip hop, you're going to do some funk and some drum and bass. The rest of you guys, we're just going to have a kind of a more in-depth chat, but what we'll do is that Jake over here in the back, he's going to take you all through Google Earth and also a couple of the other projects that we do. So we build bespoke virtual reality environments that young people do. All the young people within our makerspace learn to use all the tech in a reverse engineering approach because obviously when you come in and you're working from areas of deprivation or you're working in areas where they've never been involved in VR before or robotics or laser cutters, we show them how to use all the kit and then ask them what they're going to do with it. One of the things that we've been commissioned to do is a virtual reality youth club 24/7 that will be operated throughout all the other YMCAs throughout the world. So basically if a young person in Paisley has an issue at 2 in the morning, my staff aren't going to be dealing with that, or they shouldn't be anyway. It'll be a qualified youth worker in Sydney, Australia, because it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon there. And it's basically the idea is it's going to be like Childline, but for the 21st century tech. And that's been created by the young people as part of our projects. So you'll be getting a wee bit of an example of how they do the build on that as well. Okay, so without further ado, because I've probably chatted too long, if Jake, you want to come back down here, set yourself up, and it'll be a very kind of brief, quickly 5 minutes each, a wee shot, and I'll have a wee chat, and I'll just kind of meander around all these and ask any questions that you want to know about digital youth work, or how do you use digital within a CLD context to make disruptive communities and things like that. Okay? Yeah? Brilliant. Okay.